What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are live in a few different places today. Today's video is why isn't my cheap website ranking? Now, I know a lot of you guys are getting started in pressure washing or, landscaping or whatever. In 2024, you kind of want to make a life shift, wanting to take back some of your time and be with the family a little more, maybe just change your zip code or something like that. And you're getting started in the business. Well, if you're getting started in the business, you're going to have leads. Leads come from the internet, right? They can come from various places, but I love Google because Google has the best, most high intent leads who want to pay us the price we are asking. If you're going to deal with the internet, you got to have a website, right? And a lot of guys tend to default to the cheapest way. I call it like checking a box. Today's video is about those guys who are probably dealing with problems with that $34 website. Why isn't it ranking? I got my boy Chris Lonergan on the line today. Chris, what's up, my man?
How's it going, Aaron?
Chris is from Footbridge Media. They've built my website and continue to build it every day, every month. They update it every time it needs updating. If I have a blog or a project post, they post it, I send it in. If you're needing a contractor site built for your business, go on over to footbridgemedia.com, ask for the lean and mean deal, and you will save $600 a year off of your Footbridge Media tab. And I'll just be honest with you guys, it's already pretty cheap, $199 a month for the best in the game. Footbridge's been open since 2004. Is that right, man?
That's right.
2004.
20 years.
20 years this year, baby. Hey, y'all doing a big party for the 20-year anniversary.
Yeah. We had our 20th anniversary shindig. Yeah.
A little sock hop, if you will. Oh man. What's up, Michael Brick, Wu-10 in the chat. Chris, today we're gonna, give an homage, if you will, to the guys who have that cheap website. I think they look at it like a placeholder. I understand that. It's like a box, they're like, well, I got a website, right? They go and they find the cheapest little Weebly, website builder they can. But I want to go with you today about why wouldn't those websites be ranking? We have a few points. We want to give it to you guys today. Chris, what's the first reason that a cheap website don't rank?
The first one is usually that from a tech standpoint, things are slow. Things are slow loading, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes in the code that's dragging down the efficiency, from a technical standpoint of your website. So really, if you look at anything you want to search for, any specific term, chances are you're likely not going to see a DIY website builder type site ranking really well. Google has core vitals and page experience, basically a really fancy way to say your website's loading too slowly and people can't access it well. They can't even get to your site and interact with it easily enough for us to make a distinction of whether or not it's useful to them. And that could be images that are too big and they're taking too long to load. When you're using these WYSIWYG, these DIY, what you see is what you get type web builders, there's a lot of code baked in because there's a lot of different ways you can make the website look. All that extra code, even though you're not using it, it's still being loaded. So that's why it's going to slow down the site. And a slow website having bad core vital scores is really going to drag down your performance. It's going to stop people from finding your site in the first place, let alone coming there and being swayed to purchase from you, to use you as their contractor.
So basically you're saying when you get those sites, they have it's like a template and they got all this code packed into the template because they don't know how someone would use the template. Exactly, but even if you only use a piece of the template, your server is still having to carry the burden of the whole code.
Yep. You still got to load up all of that. You've got, if you got your website up, your menu up in the corner here, but there's options to put it everywhere else on the page. And they have to load all that code no matter what. So yeah, absolutely. Your website's going to be slowed down because somebody else somewhere else might use a design element.
Oh, wow. So it's the opposite of lean and mean.
Yeah. Loaded and slow.
It is fat and nice. That's what it is. So, yeah, fat, nice, and poor if you run those websites. But yeah, so, okay, I get it. They're trying to kind of they're trying to give a bunch of different people different options. And the server, I'm going to tell you, the servers they use we even at Southeast Offwash years ago, we had, the WooCom site, right? The WordPress site. This was years ago. Bro, I don't know. It just decided when it wanted to crash. And every time it crashed, it was like losing, I don't know, $20,000 every time it crashed. Eventually you're like, I feel like we should just invest in a better site. With all the money we lost this year, we could have a
Hmm.
killer site just on the money you lost on the crashes, right? Just on the leads you lose, guys, from your site being so slow. You're talking about talk about the photos. This is huge because guys don't know how their phone is set up. They're taking these photos, right? And they're posting them to their site, and they don't know that their camera is set in like lossless raw, and they're posting like a 30 megabyte photo on the banner. And I
Yep.
don't know, guys, let me know in the comments if you've ever been to a site and the banner just takes this much
Yep.
time to load. Just the burden on the server. Chris, talk a little bit about photos. That's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're taking pictures, whether it's a digital camera, your smartphone, whatever, it's taking pictures so that you can use them if you wanted to print them. They've got to be a high resolution, more dots per inch. We're talking about, when you think about 4K versus 1080 versus 720, you've got more dots per inch in a picture that you have to print out. When you print something, for example, 300 DPI is the technical term. Well, for the web, you don't need that. Your screens
I'll be
aren't
damned.
built for that. So now even the best screens you can get are probably going to be closer to 170 DPI. I think at this point 120 or 72 DPI works on almost everybody's device. That's a really fancy way to say you've got these images that you could put on a billboard if you wanted to, and you're loading them on a screen that is 4 inches wide. There's a little bit of overkill there, and websites don't do that for you. They don't just fix it for you. You throw a file on there, it's going to load the whole file, whether it would fit on a billboard or you cut it down and you make sure it's the right size for the device that is in someone's hands or in someone's lap or the computer screen in front of them. So that's a big thing. You can waste, hundreds of times of what you need in space. And every time you load, think about how many pictures you have on your website. Just on a single page, your logo is probably a picture. You've got what, two, three, four banner images rotating around. You've got pictures for all of your main images that you have services for. So 20, 30 times on your homepage, you're going to do that. That's way overkill. You can make it run 100 times faster by just having the right file size. And something that most people don't know about because they're not web builders. That's something
Sure.
you wouldn't think about.
And so the file size slows the website down, right? Google takes note of that. They drop your ranking, right? They're Google has a how do you say this? A probe on user experience when it pertains to your site. They know if your website is loading slow. They know the speed of the site. And if your website is cluttered up with these big fat photos that you didn't know were big and fat, okay, you just put them up there on your little template site, right? It drops the ranking because of the load speed. This is why you never see template type sites ranking number one in a metropolitan, in a big area. You might see something like that ranked number one in the middle of the woods, way out nowhere, because there's nobody, there's no competition, you know. But that's pretty crazy, dude. That's amazing. That server speed is big. And you guys over at Footbridge, y'all don't use a company type server. Y'all have your own servers. Am I correct?
We've got basically we manage all that for you. We deploy all that stuff for you, so it's something you don't have to worry about, and that's something that all of our staff know about, from the design team when they're getting your raw images to the build team when they're actually assembling websites. We know we have to condense these images. We've got to load them in ways that are optimized. And there are instances where we load them even more optimized than that. Without getting too technical, we in some instances offer multiple file formats so that we can say, hey, we know you're on this kind of device. This type of image will load a few 10, 100 milliseconds faster. And
That's important.
every grain of sand, is what counts when we're talking about these scales of who's going to rank where.
It
So
really is
yeah,
milliseconds with Google. It
yeah,
is a
literally
millisecond
milliseconds,
range.
and that's what we're worried about. And as a pressure washer, a landscaper, a contractor, most folks aren't thinking about how many milliseconds extra is this going to take.
I
But
get
that's
it.
something all of our staff think about.
They're not, I wouldn't think they would supposed to be, but that's
Yeah.
something that when they take on that DIY, they don't really know what the deal is they're taking on, right? It's some technical stuff. Let the experts do what they're doing. Chris, what's number 2?
Number two is website structure. So the thing that we see a lot when folks have DIY websites they've built themselves, usually it's a single page website. It's just a home page. Or maybe at best you've got a home page and then another page that lists all the services that you offer. And if you're just starting off and you have that as the only thing you have, that's okay as long as you know that it has to be your priority to fix that next, because a website that's a single page or just 2 pages is not going to be as effective as a site that has the right structure. So we're talking about having a menu that has multiple pages, service pages, and city pages. It has the right titles and H1s. It has the right linking structure where specific pages link to other ones that are relevant, and the text used in those different links. The web structure internally makes a big difference in showing Google who you are, further explaining to Google what you should rank for, and ultimately giving your potential customers a better snapshot of the things you do and demonstrating the expertise to them. So, really, more pages on a website when it's done appropriately helps people and Google figure out who you are.
Yeah, the structure is something that a guy who doesn't know what he's doing technically is not something he wants to take on. How those menus are housed, what their top line, the header tag would be of the menus, right? All of the menus that are encompassing those, how you guys are interlinking those pages as far as relevance, and kind of making this web that is, how do I say this, unavoidable for Google to look at, right? A lot of people don't know their website when they get it, it's like 3 pages or something like that, right? They're building the DIY site. It's very avoidable for Google to look at. Google doesn't want to look at that site. What a lot of guys will find is their site's not even indexed. I was like, well, do you have 3 pages? All right. You got a pressure washing page, a home page, and a roof washing page. And this guy over here has a pro site who's ranking at the top, and he's got 100 pages. Chris, when you guys build a site, what is the average amount of pages that come? Now, you guys write all the content, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we prepare all the content for all the service pages, all the city pages. We love getting feedback from folks. So especially, for us, how we can better craft your about page and talk about you. We always like that information. But yeah, we take the brunt of writing the actual content out. And I'd say, on average for just to pick on pressure washers, I think between 20 to 40 pages is kind of where you tend to see that fall, depending on if you do residential and commercial work, how detailed you get in your pressure wash versus soft wash services. But basically, we want to make a page of content for every major service you offer and every major city that you offer services in. It's just giving more targets to Google to better understand, like you said, that web, the interconnectivity of these are all the parts of our company. These are all the things that we do. And this all comes together into one main homepage with the target of pressure washing.
So, guys, I want you to tell me in the comments if I asked you to, and would you have the capability to write 40 pages?
You
I'll tell
don't
you what,
wanna.
though.
You don't
Tell you,
wanna.
I didn't write 40 pages if the teacher or professor asked me to write 40 pages. All right. See, like your grade is dependent. Well, I fail. I ain't
Yep.
writing 40 pages. It's a lot of writing, and not just writing, it's how it's written. Okay. What are the headers? What are the keywords used? All right. What is the anchor text of the interlinking? All right. All of this comes into play when you're building a proper website. I don't know why guys want to take on that. I guess it's because they feel like, I'm getting started. This is a box. I know I need a website. I plan on updating later, but they don't understand, Chris, and you can kind of tag into this, is getting this website done now is the best. The best time to have it done was 5 years ago.
Mhm.
The second best time is today. because a website takes time to age. Okay. So ideally, you get your website done today, you let it age out with proper structure, with proper written content, robust, I mean, everything that you need. It's a racehorse, right? And in year one, it's sending you leads. In year two, it hits different. Okay. I got dudes in year two that are running their whole business off of the website. Now, I ain't saying where you're at, that's going to happen completely, right? You may need other forms of marketing too, as you should. But I have guys, I can count them on two hands that are running their whole business off a $199 website in year two. I told Footbridge they need to go up on the price. My God. Like, your boy's he's making $180,000 a year, Chris. Like, daggum, don't the price go up? No, it don't. Okay, all right. They're like, Aaron, we've been doing this longer than you have. Don't talk to us about that. Like, all right. The more assets you have for your page, I'm sitting at 22 pages. I don't have national competitors in my area. It was easy for me to dominate my area, competing with mom and pops. That's exactly the case, dude. And if you add more pages, right, add your projects in there, send your projects into them. They'll get them posted for you. That's the easiest pages to build, right? They're going to write all of the main content, all of the roof cleaning, pressure washing, rust removal, gutter cleaning, go down the list of every single service you offer. They're going to write all that. And it's going to be properly written, keywords that are targeted, geo-targeted to your area based on search volume for the area. All right. That's the key. All right. Howdy, folks. Just starting out. Can't quite go full time yet. Is it really worth starting out and having a banging website that Footbridge offers if I only have a few nights and Saturday to clean? I would say yes. If you have a job currently, Mr. Turtle Speed, that's the oxymoron of the day. I would say yes, it is. And here's why. Because if you wait to get the website starts at zero. Right? Whenever you get it done, that's when it starts. It starts at zero, like anything that is just born. Okay. So get it done now and work your job, right? Work on the weekends, allowing this site to age. There will be a point, and I've had a few guys do this, where your lead flow overlaps the money you're making at your job. Now, I'm not exaggerating. The money you start making on the weekend is more than the money you're making at your job. All right. I was with Ben Wilson yesterday, and in a day of work, it was about $4,000, one guy. All right. So not hard to do here, but get the website done now. You know, it's a little bit of an investment. It's $199 a month. Let it overlap, because I'm going to tell you, in a year, it's going to be ranking better than it will today. And in 2 years, it'll be ranking 10 times better than it will today. All right. And you'll get more leads as well on top of that. So hope that answers your question. Chris, what is number 3?
We touched on it a little bit there, but content quality and frequency. So two things that we got to think about with content. Like we talked about, whether it's folks like Mr. Turtle Speed who've got a full-time job and they're just doing this part-time, or no matter where you're at in your journey, it's hard to commit time for you to create your own content. And if you're if you're a pressure washer and your expertise is in that, then chances are you may not have a background and experience in preparing content for the web specifically, and preparing search engine optimized content for the web. And you also don't want to spend time writing all that stuff. So, let alone, aside from the initial build, we've already talked about most DIY sites are only one page or at most a few pages. If you don't have good quality within those pages, and if you're not actively adding to your website on a regular basis in a way that makes sense for your industry, you're going to fall behind. If you've got other competitors, whether they're nationals or mom and pops, you've got other folks who are building onto their website constantly. They're helping to contribute more to help Google and people understand that their website is who they say they are, that they're experts in their field based on the projects that they put up and the blogs that they post. If you are standing still while other people are posting good content, good frequency, and it's well optimized content, you will fall behind. There's no question there. It's just a matter of when you will fall behind. So some of those folks who don't ever even see the indexing, they can't Google themselves and find themselves. That's because you don't have enough of a presence and Google doesn't understand who you are or that you exist. You build that up by having the right tech in place, but by also having the right content that demonstrates who you are. That frequency, and again, you're going to fall behind eventually. Even if you're in a good spot right now, if you have a DIY website that you've put up, even if you're in a small town, the moment somebody else posts, builds their site, and the moment they start to build, actively build with a marketing plan, you will fall behind. You will fall off of number one, and somebody else is going to take that spot.
I feel like that's pretty easy to knock those DIY guys off. I
Oh yeah,
think
100%.
it's I think it's a quarter at the most. You know, like the first month, first 2, 3 months or so, Google is still trying to learn what your site is about. Okay. They don't crawl, they call it crawling. They don't crawl local sites as much as they would say a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi or sites that get millions and millions of people a day, right? The reason, okay, get this. Why? Here's why. Because when a site gets organic traffic, it forces Google to say, okay, what the hell's going on over here? Why are, why are people coming to this site? I need to go over here and inspect. So what does it do? It releases the hounds, as Mr. Burns would say. It releases the bots and they go crawl that site and they look at all the words on the site. They look at what words are priority, meaning are they the headers, right? What is this site about? They go through all the links and they travel. Those bots take that link and they go to where that link goes. And they're seeing what's on the other end of the link. Okay. They're all inside of that site. Now, when a site is getting like, say, Coca-Cola or Nike, right, getting millions of people, probably a million or so a day. I mean, that may be more than that, dude. I don't know. Probably a lot. Okay. It forces Google to go look at what they're doing. Us as a brand new pressure washer, guess who knows who you are? You, your grandma, and your mom. All right. Now you can tell them to go look at your site, and they will. And Google will be like, what's this little dingy site they got going on over here? But that's why it takes a little longer because we just don't have we're a local pressure washing business. We're not a national publicly traded company. Okay. So a little less priority to Google, but Google gets around to it. That's why it takes a little longer for these sites to index and Google to figure out who you are. That's why for you guys who get your Footbridge site done now, here's what I recommend is you go and right off the bat, dude, some of you guys have already been working. Y'all have got before and after photos. Y'all got a stockpile of them in your phone. All right. Footbridge is going to send you, once the site launches, they're going to send you an IPP form. This is a project page form. All this is very simple. Okay. Any project that you do, any job that you do, what you do is you write what the job was about, pressure washing in Charleston. All right. A nice little page. And write like 2 sentences about what you did on this job. We cleaned this, we cleaned that, we did this, we did that. Boom. That's all. Put your photos. You have some before and afters. I know you do. You better, right? Put those in there and click submit. Now, what this does is it sends it over to Footbridge Media, their dev team. They're going to take just a little bit of info in the photos you've given them, and they're going to build out and post an entire project page on your website. I urge you to take this seriously and right out the gate, take all those projects and put them in there. Now, Footbridge is not going to post them all at one time. We don't want to give Google everything at once because Google likes it over time. They like reverence. Okay. Yes, they are that way. They like you to do it consistently. So what they'll do is they'll take all of those forms that you filled and they'll drop those posts incrementally over time. And every project you do, you just go in and write a few sentences. Boom, they build the page, they post it. All right. This is how easy Footbridge Media makes it. All right. Chris, let's see if we got any questions. Ben Pressure Wash Punk said Ben pressure washing the Tennessee Mar-a-Lago. Actually, I did some research on that house, and it's a very, very old home from some old millionaire attorney in the 1930s who built it. It was I think the house, it was like 15,000 square foot made of limestone. It's pretty wild, and Ben's over here gets the job, and he's over here just, yeah, it was about a $4,000 job. I got here at noon. I'll be back tomorrow morning. So about a full day, and that he's going to be working there. This is it. I'm gonna tell you guys, it's hard to duplicate that at your 9 to 5. Footbridge just does the website side of things, correct? Nothing to do a social media side, right? Is there a limit to what you can send or how often you can send in pictures and videos? Footbridge does have a social media side. Chris, am I correct there?
Correct. Yeah, we do social media, organic posting. We also do Facebook ads management, Google ads management. The website is what people know us for the most. That online presence. Talking about your website, your Google business profile. But we do have that's basically the core of our services. And social media isn't right for everybody, but from there we customize those marketing plans. So you can add on social media ads, Google ads, social media posting. We've got a newsletter program, an AI chatbot. We've got print and direct mail marketing. So it's kind of at that point once you get the site up and running, we have a marketing consultant team, and they work with you. They figure out what's going to work best for you, in your area, with your competition. Here's what we recommend, and you can kind of a la carte pick and choose, build out your marketing plan that way. So yeah, we have options for pretty much anything you could do marketing wise.
I love it. Another turtle speed questions. Got some good questions today. Is that queue of posts visible to me so that I know if I need to take time to provide more content for steady flow? Um, I'm sure you guys would provide like what's upcoming. I've never really asked for that because I mean, if I've turned it in, then I'm just like, well, you guys post it. And you always do incrementally. But here's what I like to do. If I'm doing a roof cleaning on a property, okay, and I've said this before in previous videos, but I'll just tell you because I don't know if you've watched the other videos. If I'm doing a roof cleaning and a driveway cleaning at a property, well, to me, that's two projects, right? For one, why is that two projects? It's a good question. Well, I want to rank for roof cleaning. I want to add relevance to my website for that service. Okay. So why not just make the roof cleaning snap, snap? That's its own project. I want a full page built out about that. Right. The driveway cleaning, well, I'll be damned. I do want to rank for driveway cleaning too. Why not give Google its own page, project page for driveway cleaning? Snap, snap. Right. So a lot of times, and if you do a rust removal, say they got some sprinkler rust that's kicked up on the side of their house, they got like hard water, full of iron or whatever, rust removal on the same property, same day, I'll make that a separate project page simply because I want to give rust removal relevance to Google in its own little entity, its own little page that lives on my site. That can allow you to get more quantity out of this, along with, frankly, quality as well. Like it's a distinct page for rust removal talking about that project. I like that more than one single page talking about all three, right? With how would I say this? Dinky content, right? Like not potent content. You got roof cleaning, driveway cleaning, rust removal. It's like, no, man, make those three projects. It'll give you make your content and your jobs go farther. You'll be able to get more pages on the site. You know what I mean? It's more relevant. It's more distinct. It's more concise. It's more robust. It's just a win all around to me. Everybody wins in that regard. Hope that answers your question. Pressure wash punks. Ben and Joe Deary, similar operation. Yeah, man. Yeah, two dudes who definitely kind of operate very similarly. They Ben is Joe's great. We love Joe Deary. He's a good dude. Joe doesn't talk about pricing much. And I think that's just because I don't know why that is. It's probably because guys just give heat about pricing, in the chat, in the comments. If you talk about pricing, Chris, guys start getting all, yeah, well, you should charge this and you should charge that. You know what I mean? And Deary ain't got time for that, dude. He's just
Yep.
like, I live my life, bro. Like, let me just. But Ben will tell you what he charged. He's a little more. We don't like to overcharge anybody, but we do like to be on the upper end of our pricing. You know what I mean? Because Ben and I, that's kind of the lean and mean mentality. It always has been is if I'm going to do one truck, big profits, right? Well, the big profits has to be a thing. It has to be a deal in there. And I need to make a lick, but I also have to give excellent service. I also show up when I told them I'm going to show up. I also don't kill any plants. I don't pull up any of those little garden lights. Okay. Ben is very anal when it comes to like property mitigation. Like if you saw how this dude handles Japanese maples, Okay, because if you spray on that Japanese maple, it turns into dust. Okay, it gets crispy, right? You'll be buying them a new one, and some of them, probably a 15-foot Japanese maple, bro. You're looking at $5,000 minimum. They go up. It just keeps going. All right. So the older they get, the more irreplaceable they are, and they're very tender to what we spray, which is bleach. So it's just when you're going to charge that, guys, you have to be very confident in yourself. And what you'll find is you'll start attracting that type of customer. Ben was cleaning basically, and he does this a lot. Like it's not uncommon. That's not a one off cleaning, a $4,000 deal in a day. That's a residential deal. Well, obviously, we're in a city that can handle that type of pricing, right? Nashville's popping. So we got a lot of people here. We got Nissan headquarters here. We got Bridgestone headquarters here. We got a lot of people with a lot of money, right? You have to be able to kind of afford that. But that doesn't mean wherever you are, you can't be on the upper echelon of pricing. Meaning if you're in a more rural area, yeah, maybe that job to you is definitely won't be as big of a house, but you're sitting on the up about $1,000, where most people are like, well, I'll charge, 600. It's like, no, it's worth 1,000. You got some stuff you care about. You sit on that upper echelon and you're able to be profitable. You're able to live the lifestyle you want to live, but you're also able to give excellent service. And the only way to give excellent service, guys, is if you're actually profitable. Because guess what? If you ain't making no money, how are you going to keep your stuff running? How are you going to buy the chemicals? How are you going to pay for insurance? Okay. Like all of the things. So keep your pricing up. We always talk about that. Let's I'll do a whole video on this. How does Ben handle the Japanese maple? I'm gonna have to do a whole video on this. Let's get through here. No doubt I would rather do 100 jobs and make the same money than the cheap guy is making on 165. And he's still working, and I'm drinking I'm drinking bears. You damn right. Just a whole grizzly, by God. Let's see here. When Footbridge posts projects on the website, is it possible to take those projects and post them as snapshots or something of that nature on Facebook? Absolutely. I actually urge you to do that.
Yep.
If you have any content or any followers on Facebook, right, who might click through to that, that could definitely drive some clicks to that page and maybe force Google to index that page a little faster. Right, Chris?
Yeah, I recommend. I love the idea of always maximizing your content wherever you can. So yeah, absolutely. You can. I usually recommend at least the link, but usually a combination of native photos and a link on your Facebook post. And like you said, then you can get the click through. It gives you good content. You can even go the extra mile if this customer is cool with it and they're on Facebook. You can tag that customer in your Facebook post who said, "We did this great house washing job for Joe," and tag Joe. Guess what Joe's going to do? Because you just made his house look great. Joe's going to like it. That's going to mean Joe's friends are going to see that post. Joe might share that or reshare that content on social. So you're going to get a lot more engagement out of that. So absolutely, yeah, I'm a huge fan of maximize that content, share it on social media, tag the homeowner if they're cool with it, and you're going to get more legs out of the same amount of work you've already done.
I love it. Guys, we're going to leave you with this today. If you're wanting to get your website done, click a link in the description or somewhere in this post. It'll take you to this page, the 199 deal. If you're going to get a website from Footbridge Media, make sure you mention lean and mean on when you call in or you go to this page as well. So they know you want the deal, the lean and mean deal. Normally it's $249 a month. With the lean and mean deal, it's $199. Chris, any final words for these guys today about why their cheap website ain't ranking? And we'll deuce it on out. And I'm going to go eat some lunch that my beautiful blonde wife has cooked me.
No, I think to echo what you said, it's real tempting to get stuck in that DIY website mode, but you can't. It's got one of the first things you got to do, maximize that website time you have. You cannot get the time back. Build the site, get it up and running now so that you can have that age, have that time on Google, have Google understand who you are so that you can be successful later. The more you push that off, you're just pushing off the potential for success.
So I'm going to leave you guys with this. To put this into context, Ben did a $4,000 job in a full day's worth of work. If you get the lean and mean deal today, it costs you $2,400 a year. So Ben did that like in a full day, four grand. He basically got 2 years almost worth of Footbridge Media in a single day. Guys, go ahead and get it. Chris, thanks for coming on, man. This has been a good
Thank
one,
you.
dude.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I appreciate you. See you guys.